This is a momentous day. Federal Minister for Infrastructure and Transport, Anthony Albanese, and New South Wales Minister for Sport and Recreation, Graham Annesley. Commissioners, new commissioners for the game just been appointed as directors, board members one and all, and key stakeholders. And I particularly recognise the player community who's here and the ambassadors who come from the game. We're very conscious of the fact that at the end of the day you are one of the real hearts of the game, so thank you very much to the player representatives. I too would like to pay my respects to the traditional owners of this land and to their elders past and present. And there are very few times in anyone's life when you can stand in front of a room such as this, representing a game that's as diverse as the game of rugby league in Australia, and can say to everyone, well, you finally have the result you wanted. Rugby League has today achieved something that many sporting organisations around the world are working very, very hard towards, and that is independent governance. Importantly, it's done so at a time when the game is in great shape. On behalf of the Commissioners, let me say that we acknowledge the leap of faith that has taken place and the contribution those amongst us who are stepping down from long administrative careers in the game have made. Directors of the Australian Rugby League, directors of the National Rugby League, directors of the National Rugby League Partnership. It's also been personally gratifying for me and for the other commissioners who I can speak on behalf of at this point to experience the goodwill that currently exists towards the new commissioners. Needless to say, I hope that continues. We clearly understand the weight of responsibility that we take on to ensure the game continues to grow and prosper, from the junior fields of country Australia to the elite NYC, NRL, State of Origin and international competitions. Having worked together for the past 7 months, I can assure you that the Commissioners bring a mix of skills which can serve the game well. They are individually successful, have experience in the trenches of business and the community, and together are a group that would be the envy of many public companies in Australia. Today we have only 4 of those Commissioners here, and let me formally introduce them as the inaugural ARL Commissioners. Firstly, Gary Pemberton. Gary, where are you? Would you mind standing? Gary Pemberton has had a distinguished board and executive career at Brambles, Qantas, the TAB, Commonwealth Bank, CSR, Fairfax Holdings and Billabong International. He's also chaired Racing New South Wales for his sins and led the establishment of the Sydney Organising Committee for the 2000 Olympic Games. Dr. Chris Sara. Chris, where are you? One of the country's foremost Indigenous leaders and educators, and is well known for pioneering outcomes-based performance as principal of Cherbourg State School in Queensland. He's currently Executive Director of the Stronger, Smarter, Safer Institute for Indigenous Leadership. Jeremy Sutcliffe. Jeremy also brings impressive international corporate experience to the Commission through executive and board roles at CSR, Amcor, Sims Group and the Business Council of Australia. And Ian Elliott. Ian's a former CEO and Chairman of George Patterson, a Harvard Business School graduate, Company Director, member of the Australia Day Council. And last but not least, certainly not in terms of the Commissioners, but we need to recognise David Gallop as the new CEO of the Australian Rugby League Commission. Unfortunately, 3 Commissioners couldn't be with us today, and the reasoning for that is that this event was scheduled for an earlier date when we were all had it in our diaries, and through the circumstances that they prevailed, we've had to reschedule it. And apologies also to those of you who got very short notice of this, but we needed to make this happen. But as a consequence of that, 3 of our directors or new commissioners can't be here today. Firstly, Wayne Pearce needs no introduction to anyone in terms of his rugby league as being a participant or one of the outstanding participants in rugby league as a player and a coach at the NRL level, the state level and the national level. Subsequently, Wayne has been a highly respected commentator and has created a successful career in corporate team building and personal development. Also, Catherine Harris. Catherine was going to be with us. She's flying back from New York today, but she got shunted into Brisbane at the last moment and just can't be with us here, unfortunately. But Catherine is chair of Harris Farm Markets. She's run a successful international marketing and tourism company, and she's a valued company director with extensive private and public sector experience. And finally, Peter Gregg. They also can't be with us, and Peter is overseas. Peter has had extensive experience as a Chief Financial Officer of publicly listed companies. He currently holds that position for Leighton Holdings and has also guided Qantas as a CFO and as a Director during what might have been somewhat better flying times for the kangaroo. So while we as a group are well-credentialed individuals, we understand well our place in history. We are the first in what will be a long line of commissioners who take responsibility for nurturing and ensuring the game prospers for the players and fans of today and tomorrow. The significance of this day is not about the group of commissioners, but rather about the very significant changes that have been made forever to the game's structure and the opportunities those changes bring for Rugby League and its many stakeholders across the nation. So what does it mean? Firstly, it means a fresh start. There's now the opportunity to provide a single vision and plan for the game across all the administrative entities and into the field, and to apply funding where the whole of game priorities demand. And with this new simplified structure, we can implement governance processes that allow decisions at both the strategic and operational level to be made in a whole of game context more quickly and more transparently than they potentially have been able to be done before. And there will be tough decisions at times, but my hope is that stakeholders will be able to see the rationale for them more readily. And under the new single governing body, the commissioners expect to see the executive and management teams across the whole game drive an enhanced culture of performance and accountability as they implement their plans. I introduced David Gallop as the new CEO of the Australian Rugby League Commission, and David takes quite a different role to the one he's been used to as CEO of the NRL. His responsibility will be to make sure that he delivers the plans across the game, and the commissioners look forward to his leadership as we pursue our objectives for this year and beyond. Having been involved with the game for 7 months, there are clearly a number of priorities that demand our immediate attention. Negotiation of the broadcast rights and sponsorship negotiations for the next 5 years are key, and we've commenced this work. Developing a clear whole-of-game vision and strategy and alignment of the structure, business plans and funding for the 2013 year and beyond with this will be commenced straight away. We expect that strategy to look at pathways for participants in the game from the grassroots to the kangaroos, and to apply the additional funding expected from the media rights to underpin financial stability and growth across the game. There's a lot to do, and we're very excited about the chance to do that and finally to start doing it. So to start this process, we open a new home for Rugby League, a home that brings most of the game's administrative arms under the one roof. It's a pretty significant sign of what's to come. Thank you very much.